I was blindsided by treachery by someone I thought was a friend this week. Here's what the tweet says. I was ambushed in person with a fall wedding invitation complete with the "it's only one Saturday" line. This happened yesterday. I'm not going to out the person, but they have been given advanced warning that this is going to be a topic on tonight's show. I'm tired of it. I don't know what else to tell you. I'm tired of it. I put that out there, and I got a lot of responses. We're going to go through a lot of them in just a second. But it's happened to so many of our brothers and sisters at Pate State. It finally hit me. Now, I am in the fortuitous position where I'm one of the few people in this great country of ours that can reasonably look someone in the eyes and say, I can't come to your Saturday wedding. I got to work that day. And smile as I say it, because it's true. Truthfully, that's part of the reason I got in this business. Yeah, I love college football. And yeah, I love the atmospheres, and yeah, I love the sport and blah, blah, blah. I just wanted an excuse to get out of Saturday weddings in the fall. So I've got that too. So it's a win-win, classic win-win-win. In that case, as Michael Scott would say, we all win. What are your problems? What is wrong with some of you? And here's the thing about it. If you noticed what I said there in the tweet, it's one thing to be ignorant. It's another thing to just be malicious. It is malice the most, the pressure that I was under. To quote Corrine Brown, go Gator. It is malice the most, the pressure I was under when I was presented that. Now, I said no. I spiked it right back in their face. But if you're just ignorant and you don't know any better and you schedule your wedding for a Saturday in the fall, that's one thing. We all make mistakes in life. But when you actually have the gall and the audacity to say it's only one Saturday, that is premeditated. That's like the difference between me accidentally dropping a 2x4 on your head versus me drop kicking you off a cliff. If I drop kick you off the edge of a cliff, I know good and well what I'm doing. If you tell someone it's only one Saturday, that means you know good and well what you're doing. And you're just not a good person. I don't know what else to tell you. You're not a good person if you do that. Well, let me scratch that. If you get mad at people for rejecting the invitation, then I really question your character. You can have whatever you want to. Just don't expect people to rearrange their lives for you. So I know it's always a shock when people take this stuff seriously. You know, after all, it's only one Saturday. Well, before we look at some of your responses, I want you to imagine something. It's only one Saturday after all. I want you to go back to October 9th last year. One Saturday, by the way. And I want you to imagine, because I know someone somewhere out there was in this predicament. Imagine driving to a wedding around noon as Oklahoma is furiously storming back on Texas at the Cotton Bowl, and you've got a field being stormed. You don't see it, mind you, because you're driving to some bootleg wedding. And then the wedding starts probably about 3 or 4 o'clock. Penn State versus Iowa State, or Iowa. Iowa, upset win. Iowa storms the field. You don't see it because you're at a wedding. It's reception time. Just about the time A&M's taking down Alabama as about a 3-touchdown underdog. Third field storming of the day, but you're at a wedding reception somewhere. It's only one Saturday. What could happen in one Saturday? History. That's what can happen in one Saturday. Statistically, your marriage may be history in a couple of years. But I have only one time, maybe in a generation, that I could experience a Saturday like that. So yeah, it's only one Saturday. It's everything. We get about 12 of them a year. It's everything to us. Fortunately, we have a sizable audience on the show. Pate State, far and wide. I just told you, we had a viewer in Serbia earlier tonight. So I took it to you, and you came through. I wasn't necessarily looking for replies. I just wanted to vent. But you gave them to me. I don't want to waste these, so I'm just going to read some of them to you. Reply number 1. Don't make me choose between football and your wedding. You won't like the results. Pate State material. Completely agree. Reply number 2. Anyone selfish enough to get married on a fall Saturday isn't ready for marriage. I'm saying, I couldn't have put it any better. So Joe did. Third response. There are people in the world who will do evil things like this, but Tennessee baseball gets called classless. Look, you're rounding first, you throw up the middle finger, maybe you drop some trash on the field every now and then. That is child's play compared to scheduling a wedding on a fall Saturday. Completely agree. Again, could not have said it better myself. What about this? Austin, with a sage quote here. A wise person once told me at a tailgate, 50% of marriages end in divorce and the rest of them get married in the spring. Shakespeare himself. Could not have put it any better. I doubt he dealt with this too. Nick said, tell them that statistics show this will only be their first marriage, so you're going to games that will only be played once. And you know what? That's not just a joke. He's right. I only get one shot to see these games. They don't run replays in the sport. Everything that happens on a Saturday is happening once and never again. And Nick's he's just citing statistics. The divorce rate in this country, right at 50%. So odds are you're going to have more weddings than I'm going to have opportunities to watch this game. Tracy, though, tuned in and chimed in. She said, as a wedding planner and a football fan, people make this mistake all too often. Even if they know their team's schedule and they're on a bye, if there's a big game that day or even a close game, they're going to lose their guests to the nearest TV. This probably was the most important reply because we got someone in the belly of the beast, someone that actually lives inside the, in some cases, fraudulent wedding complex in our country. Tracy said, I'm a wedding planner, and even I'm smart enough to know you people shouldn't be scheduling these things on Saturdays in the fall. And also, let me touch on something Tracy said there. Some of you think you find a loophole. You know what? Since we were transitioning, and I'll probably want to use this as a clip, some of you think you find a loophole when you schedule your wedding on the week where your team has a bye. This is a great illusion. The great myth in college football is that bye weeks exist. There is no bye week, guys. Unless 100% of your invitation list roots for the same team, not everyone in that crowd has a team they root for that is on a bye week. So, is it selfish? In a word, yes. We continue with the replies. I'm just glad she pointed that out. Wright said, quote, it's only one Saturday, unquote. Coming from a guy who doesn't realize how often he's going to hear it's only one Saturday for the rest of his life after agreeing to a fall wedding. This is another very, very sage point. What kind of slippery slope, as a man, are you setting yourself up on if you agree to the philosophy that, oh, it's only one Saturday? You know, that's kind of like back in the day when I used to argue that I only did one thing wrong, and my dad would come back and said, if I baked an entire pot of brownies here, a pan of brownies, and I said there's just a little bit, just a pinch of dog droppings in there, are you going to eat the brownies? I knew what the answer was. It was a very good point, and this is a very good point by Wright. We continue. I had my wedding in the fall on a Friday. I'm going to stop, and I'm going to repeat that sentence because I want everyone to pay attention, because this is the way it should be. Forget about how it is. This is the way it should be. I had my wedding in the fall on a Friday. Then we had a huge party the day after to watch Ohio State, Penn State. Plan a wedding to include the game. Win-win. I think this probably should hang somewhere in our studio. No one, myself included, is anti-marriage. Quite the opposite. We fully support the institution of marriage. And no one's against fall weddings, period. Friday wedding. Do you tell me, I want you to honestly look me in the eye and tell me this doesn't sound like a better plan than a Saturday wedding. And if you're worried that people can't get off work, let me spoil the ending for you. I can assure you about 90% of the people that you're inviting would much rather burn one of their vacation days and get your wedding out of the way on Friday instead of having to waste a Saturday of theirs that would be dedicated to things they actually love, but instead they have to spend it in a chapel or in 95-degree heat somewhere. No, Friday weddings. Normalize Friday weddings in the fall. Or, for that matter, I think we also had another comment about the other option. Quite frankly, any option is better than Saturday. But this is why I had my fall wedding on a Sunday morning, says another person here. My wife and I watched our game the night before, and we watch football every year on our anniversary. Notice, these people are talking about anniversary. They're still together. I read somewhere that 100% of weddings that happen on Saturdays in the fall end in divorce. And I did 15 seconds of research and couldn't find anything to argue against that, so I'm just going to assume that's true. How about Kay Charles here? My wife wanted a fall wedding. I said that would be fine, but she had to be okay with the fact everyone would be watching the Georgia game at the reception. We got married in June. Just be upfront. Just be reasonable. You know what warmed my heart? As I was scrolling through these replies, there were so many of the females in our audience that were arguing fervently in our favor. So don't think for a second that this is just like a battle of the sexes sort of deal. Oh, no, 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 no. That's not the case at all. There are plenty in our female audience, full-on Pate State material, including Tracy, a wedding planner, who said, no, 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 don't do it. Just don't do it. But if you need help, if you still need some assistance here, that's okay. I assume you come to this show for many things, including us helping plan your wedding. So producer Jesse took it upon himself to provide a helpful graphic here. Which way do I need to point? That way, right? Yeah, that way. Okay? If you're wondering when it's okay to get married, here is our full wedding planner tip guide. It's Saturdays to say I do and Saturdays to leave alone. As you can see, January is okay. February is good. March, yep. April, May, June, July, August. Think of how much real estate you have here to get married. You see these red section down here? September, October, November, December. Just say no to those months. Those months right there, those are ours. These are yours. Plan your lives accordingly. Read the bottom. Be a good person. Don't do it.